We are gearing up for a landfalling hurricane that's expected to hit Florida. So what do you need to know? Tropical Storm Idalia, early week potential for rapid intensification. It's already a tropical storm, but we are expecting it to continue to strengthen into hurricane status. Would be the first landfalling U.S. hurricane of the season, and with that, Florida is preparing. There is a state of emergency that includes 33 counties, and so let's break this down for you. Tropical Storm Idalia, it's kind of just been parked out in the Gulf of Mexico, just sitting there, fueling itself with all those warm ocean temperatures. Also, it's dealing with limited wind shear and plenty of moisture, so all the ingredients that you need for a strengthening tropical storm. And as we are tracking it as it heads north, well, we're expecting it to run into even more weakened wind shear, and that's going to allow Tropical Storm Idalia to shoot north, open up the Gulf, and well, strengthen into a hurricane. Surface waters right now 86 to 88 degrees, so it is so soupy in the Gulf of Mexico. Now, if we take this day by day, what we're tracking, well, Idalia is going to continue to track north, and by the time we hit around 8 a.m. or early Wednesday, we are expecting Idalia to be close to land, if not on land, making landfall as a Category 2 hurricane. Now, it is going to stretch across the southeast. It's going to lose some of that wind intensity, dropping back down to a tropical storm, but still, tropical storm force winds are nothing to play around with. That's going to be impacting the Carolinas, and then eventually it's going to steer back off into the Atlantic, but still a tropical storm at that. So we're going to be tracking Idalia for the long term, all the way even through next weekend. So a lot of impacts that we are tracking. High risk to lives and property right there along the Big Bend of Florida. Flash flooding and damaging winds, dangerous storm surge. Your AccuWeather real impact scale for the U.S. is a 2. The Caribbean less than 1, but not 0. So we are tracking those impacts to the lives and property. There is that high risk in Big Bend, and then also we are tracking a moderate risk that includes the Carolina down through Georgia, more inland, and then down through the Florida panhandle as well. So a lot of dangerous impacts that we are tracking, and the winds are going to be a big concern as well, as those winds continue to gust. Well, these are the arrivals of 40-mile-per-hour greater winds, and by the time it's making landfall, let's say 7 p.m. Tuesday through early Wednesday, that's when winds are going to start to arrive right before it makes landfall. So we are anticipating it to pack quite the punch with power outages and structural damage, even isolated tornadoes. We cannot rule that out. All right, let's go over to Franklin, because Franklin continues to strengthen in the Atlantic, and well, it's not slowing down. It's just going to continue to shoot north and then slightly east around Bermuda, well east of the U.S., a little west of Bermuda. So we are anticipating impacts to both Bermuda and the U.S. So as we take this throughout Monday afternoon, we are anticipating Franklin to strengthen to a Category 4 hurricane, and then it's going to start to lose some of that wind intensity, but it's going to take a few days to do so. It's still going to be a Category 3 hurricane by 2 p.m. on Tuesday or Tuesday afternoon. Then by Wednesday afternoon, it's dropping down to a Category 2. Still going to be impactful as it zooms back out into the Atlantic, and then it's going to turn back down to a Category 1 as we head into Thursday afternoon. But before that, the winds, well, 40 to 60 miles per hour across the island of Bermuda, with your AccuWeather local storm max as high as 75 miles per hour. That's going to bring us some risk to lives and property across the island. All right. But for the U.S., we did tell you that there is going to be impacts, coastal impacts into Wednesday. That's going to stretch across the eastern seaboard from New England down through Montauk, Ocean City, Wilmington, Jacksonville, down through the Space Coast, rough surf and rip currents, beach erosion with localized coastal flooding. So all big concerns. Make sure that you are taking precautions. It's just not going to be the best week for beach plans.